Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to another time out here. Welcome to a book club. So glad you made it. So glad you came. Uh, I've been reading through a book, Bethenny Frankel, right? Business is personal. That's what we've been on for some months now. And we're presently in chapter 8. We're going to start chapter 8 today. That's where we are. We finished chapter 7 last Sunday. Today we're gonna go on to chapter 8. We're not gonna finish it today. We're gonna do the first part of it today and see if we can finish it next Sunday. I'm not gonna promise you we'll finish it next Sunday because this chapter is all about relationships, and I am a relationship expert. Or did I say expert? Relationship coach. That's what I am. Not necessarily an expert. I'm always learning. I'm still learning, right? But I do get to coach people, do that therapy sessions on relationship, right? So I got to do that. I run a community of married people or marriage counseling, and I have about 100,000 people on that, with pretty much probably 95, 96 thousand followers, on that. So something I got to do. But let's see what Bethany has in that. That's what we're going to be looking at in chapter 8. See what we can get from that. So let me bring up my slides and we're going to run with that. Right, great. I believe you can see my slides here. So again, that's events or seemingly debt that need to be sieved off, from it. It's an ever continuous process, right? You think some people are your friends, and you later find out they're not, or they are friends for a reason, a season. For people come for different purpose and intent and duration in your life, and there are those that are there for life. So they all come and sift off, depending on who they are, why they came. So the first thing we'll look at here is know who you are, right, and know who your friends are. Right. The only way you're going to truly be able to know your friends, obviously, is first of all, know who you are, because who you are will determine who your friends can be and how and will be. Right. Because it's all about working together. There's a popular verse of scripture that talks about, can two work together except they be agreed. An agreement means that there is a commonality, an overlapping of the persons, right? If there's no overlapping and all you're doing is staying on the outside, you're going to give up, right? It takes there to be an overlapping. There must be some interest, whether it is innate or it is generated. There has to be an overlap of interest, right, for you to work together with someone else. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time, right? There has to be a commonality somewhere. Well, that commonality then will determine how close or not your relationship might be, right? And also the commitment that goes with it, right? So I love this popular quote here by Sun Tzu in his book, The Art of War. Even though it's used in terms of enemies, but it also applies in terms of friends. It says that if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Let's put that into context of what we're discussing. If you know the friend, you know the person, right, and know yourself, right, you need not fear the result of 100 engagements. Right? When you know yourself, then you know how to relate with someone else. You know how to engage with someone else. You know yourself, you know the person. You know how to engage rightly with the other person, right? Because first you know yourself, then you know the person, then you know which part of you engages with that person, right? You don't waste your time. You don't shoot darts everywhere. Your bullseye in your dart, in your relationship. There are those you can spend social quality time with. There are those that are not for quality time. There are those that are just good enough for high every now and then. And you when you know yourself, you know what you need, what your life entails, that you know how to where the overlaps is, and know then where to put your energy and not waste your energy, right, and relating with someone else, right? And the other part of a quote goes that wise, because if you don't, the second sentence there says, if you know yourself, but you don't know the potential friend, right, then for every victory gained, you will also suffer defeat. If you don't know the person you're trying to relate with, then you're not able to, maybe once in a while you hit it, maybe once in a while you miss it. Kind of reminds me of someone I was trying to get into a relationship with, right? Now this is now like 37 years ago, or 37 years ago, yes. And I probably didn't know myself that much, right? 37 years ago, you can imagine how old I was, back then I had from 56, and I was going, right? I didn't know myself, and I didn't know the person I was trying to be in a relationship with. All I just knew was that there was something clicking and I wanted to make it work. Obviously, I wasn't good at that. It didn't work, right? For whatever reason, I put in all I could in 11 years, but in 11 years also, I wasn't matured, so I didn't necessarily do all the right things. Maybe the person also I was trying to click with also probably was expecting a more matured person than I was. I wasn't, right? And no, but I was sincere. I was a Christian. I had a good heart, right? It wasn't for the intent of using her in any way. I had opportunities, to do that, but that was not my intent. I loved and feared God, even though I was a dunce, I was immature, right, in the area of relationship. But such is why I can stand boldly in this office of a relationship coach today, because when I do that, I am not doing something I have not felt, something I have not touched before, right? It's something I've touched. It's a pain that I've been through. So it's easy for me then to help other people that are in the place that I used to be, right? I'm qualified to be a relationship coach because of where I have been, right? When I coach, when I teach, I'm teaching out of experience, not just what I read in a book, right? My heart has been hurt. My heart has been broken, right? My emotions have been torn apart, right? So I have been there, right? I've been there. That's why I can be a relationship coach today. That's why I can be a therapist today, because I've been there, right? And I'm no more in the pit. I'm now on the mountaintop by the grace of God. And I can tell other people how I came out from a valley, how I came out from a pit, and how I got to stand on the rock, in the area of relationship. But you say, when you don't know yourself, you don't know the other person, you're going to have issues relating, right? And if you know yourself and you don't know the other person, there's going to be issues. The perfect relationship is that place where you know yourself and you know the person you're trying to relate with, and then you can engage outright or disengage outright, So let's move on to the next slide here. So there will always be some degree of bad energy around you, because you don't necessarily control the people that are coming around you. You don't necessarily control the bed that's flying over your head, but then you control whether you're going to stay in a place where it can pull on your head or not. You can move. You're not a tree. It can drive the bed away if it's producing a toxic environment, right? You can control the things that will come around you, but you can control the ones that would stay or the ones you will permit in your vicinity, right? So you can move, right? That's a key word. You can move, right? You're not at the mercy of negative energy, and right now I'm having that kind of issue, with elections coming this Saturday here in Nigeria. We have the governorship election. You have a group of people who are bent, on disrupting the process. they're bent on their evil plans, coming up, and I'm just standing for what I know. I'm standing for what I believe in. I'm standing for what I believe in, right? And they believe in what they believe, and I have no problem with them believing what they believe. But when you have them coming and thinking that their belief is better than my belief, and come into my face and tell me lies and try to be who they are not, that is not healthy, right? And I have the right not to permit them in my space. But then I have to do that also as a matured person, right? I'm not going to come down to their level. People come, young people that have no respect, probably it's their culture or whatever it is, and feel they can talk to you anyhow. Social media, right? I mean, I have to be careful that I don't come down to their level, so I have to address that with maturity without still allowing them space, or rent in my circle. I have to find a way to manage them without getting to the mode that they are in, right? So, yeah, and it's typical right now, but it's something we do every day of our lives. You have to know the people you allow into your sanctuary. The temple, Moses is very exemplary in this wise. In that temple, you have the sanctuary, the Holy of Holies. You have the inner place, right? And you have the outer court, right? Everybody can stay on the outer court, right? That is none of your business, right? Just keep everyone on the outer court. You have to be worthy to come into the inner circle. You have to be someone I can engage with, someone I can reason with, someone that can reason with me, right? Not someone that's trying to witchcraft me, right? But someone we can engage on the mutual beneficial level, right? We can pour into one another, right? We can work together, right? Not one trying to oppress the other. But after that, then that is for a set of people, right? We would then call people that might be a part of your tribe, right? But there is the inner circle also, or the people that are closest to you, people that can touch your heart, people that can injure you, people that can wound you, people you expose yourself to, right? That is the holiest of all. Right. So you have three places you can place people. And the outer court is everybody. I relate with everybody. I love everybody. I give people the benefit of a doubt. Right. What you score out there will determine whether you can come into the inner place. For me, place where I can now begin to interact with you on a higher level. Right. And what we get from that, the result of that will determine whether I can open up my sanctuary to you, right? So not everybody can be in my sanctuary. Not everybody can be my friend, right? Some used to be, they're falling out, right? Because they were not genuine, they were not real, and so it all depends on where you come from, right? But people generally know they're in that three structure, right? Outer court, inner place, the sanctuary, right? Jim Brown puts it this way. He says the average of 5 people you're closest to, that's who you are. Because the people you allow in your space affect who you are, right? They affect who you are. When I came out of that 11 years of pursuing a relationship, I was torn apart. I was messed up emotionally. I was messed up emotionally. I didn't have my self-respect. I didn't have my self-love. I didn't have my self-confidence. I didn't have my self-image in place, right? I had to build from that place, right? I had to build from that place, but I came out of there broken. I came out of there torn apart, right? Less than human, right? And I had to build myself back, right? Because that was the environment I had exposed myself to. I had exposed myself to a place where someone was used to rejecting my person, right? And unknown to me, that was destructive, to who I am. But I kept exposing myself to that because I didn't know better, right? But thank God, right? That's behind me, But you have to be careful the people you relate with because they affect you, right? They are either going to make you or destroy you, right? They're either going to take you to your destiny or take you away from your destiny, right? Someone says as we grow, as we get older, we don't lose friends. We just find out who the real ones are, right? So as events of life come, the people that are your real friends, people that are your fake friends, people that you should hold tightly to you, and those we should give some space to, right? And they reveal themselves. I keep on quoting Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou said something. She said that if someone shows you their true color, believe it the first time. And I hold tightly to that, more so because when I got back, in 2016, from working out in the US, working locally, there were people I thought were friends, and I had that false expectation until they got me into a place of depression, as I then look back, and had to look at the events and how I got to that place. I saw the things that hit me. They were fake people. Someone I'm supposed to have known for years and I thought had my back was a demon that was causing all the trouble around me. Thank God I know today, and but I learned from that. There are evil people in this life. Not everyone that's smiling with you loves you. Not everyone that's smiling with you wants the best for you. My church that I left, had some big, face off, which I stayed back through. But if I have to do all of that again, those were signs my time was up in that environment. When your time is up, you would know things will happen around you, and the longer you stay, you're probably delaying the hand of destiny. Well, in the sense that thank God I didn't rush out, because I grew up a very conservative person. I'm not as conservative as I used to be, but that's because the maturity has come to place, right? But I grew up conservative, and I had to think over, melancholy as part of my personality. I grew up as a perfectionist, so I had to think through things through, before I ever step out doing it. But today I'm a recovering perfectionist, and not the melancholy I used to be. But all of that has come out of the experience of life. It's come out of growth. It's come out of maturity, right? But you need to be cognizant of things happening around you and be able to decipher what he's telling you. God leads us through situations and circumstances, also. You can see the hand of God, the hand of destiny happening around you. And from experience, you need to be able to understand, what the next step is or might be. Not that you rush into it, but that you plan into it. So time will tell, right? Time is a healer. Time is a sifter. Time will separate between friends and enemies, between real ones and fake ones. Through my time of depression, I can tell who's for me, who's not for me. They're probably innocent ones, but I know where to put each person, but it's not come because I just castigate people. It's come because the sifting of time tells who to give priority to in your relationship, who's worth it and who's not. Some people are going to leave, but that's not That's not the end of your story, because people live your life. It's not the end of your story. You had a life before they came. You will have a life after they leave. There's no one that's indispensable in your life, but you had a life before they came. You will have a life after they leave, right? So don't be torn apart because someone left your life. They left your life so that someone better can come. That is the way life works. That's the way life runs. In every adversity, there is a seed of a greater reward. There's a seed of a greater reward, right? For everything that happens to you. Someone leaving is because someone better is coming, right? So two things you will never have to chase is true friends and true love, right? Everyone that's true in your life will gravitate towards you. True love will gravitate towards you. Whatever is yours will come to you, right? It's like what we'll call the home-seeking pigeon, right? He's always finding his way back home. No matter how far you take it away, he finds his way back home. And that's what Asians used to use for as a postmaster, right? You just tie your message to the leg of the pigeon. It will find its way back home no matter where it is. All right. So it's true love. So it's true friends, right? They will come to you. Just be yourself. When you're yourself, you will cause to gravitate towards you. The friends that are yours, the love that is yours, right? Don't change yourself to have a friend. Don't change yourself to have love. That which is yours will come. That which you're forced to come will leave, right? That which you allow to come your way because of who you are will stay, right? So that's important. All right. So Bethenny was saying that I'm careful to create a circle, people who are authentic, sincere, and have positive energy. You want to be the master of your destiny, right? The captain of your soul. You want to be the captain of your soul, the master of your destiny. You determine where the ship is going to go, right? You determine where the ship is going to go. So you determine the people you want around you, right? She's saying that those people she wants around that are authentic, they're sincere, and they are positive energy. That's something we can all take away from her. You want people that are authentic, people that are true, right? You want people that you can trust, you can rest on, you can depend on, right? And they had to you, right? So friendship and relationships involve caring and a sense of selflessness, right? Your friends are the people that care for you, that are there for you, and people that can make sacrifices for you, and I do have people like that. As much as I know people that I cannot trust, there are people that I know the answer will be no, and there are people that I know the answer will be yes, right? And it's, you have friends, you want to, those are the kind of friends you want. You don't want people around you that will not make sacrifice for you, right? So if you're friends with someone, you genuinely care about the other person and are there for them in times of need. That's what it is. Friends are there, to rejoice with you and also to comfort you in the day of need, right? So I looked at Sonia Vad Lamani, looked at some qualities of friendship, just thinking we can look at some of those. It talks about true friendships are based on the mutual desire to share experience and spend quality time together. Right, that's what true friendship is. You want to spend quality time together, right? Close friends take a keen interest in each other's life, right? So you're interested in the other person. It's not parasitic relationship. It's not about that person caring about your life alone or you caring about their life alone. Remember when we talk about the definition of a healthy relationship? Definition of a healthy relationship is one in which two people go in not because of what they can get or what they can give, right? But what keeps them together is not what they give, is what they get, right? That's a classical, paradoxical definition of a healthy relationship, right? It's two people coming together, not because of what they can get, but because of what they can give, right? But what keeps them together is not what they give, it's what they get, right? It's a paradox, but it's true, right? So true friends accept you the way you are and even encourage you to embrace your imperfections, right? A friend is not someone that's trying to beat you down, tell you the things that are wrong in your life, and that was one of the things I had, chasing the relationship. And my friend, and I'm not talking against it because she's my friend, but through those period, I guess she's learned, it was more of a focus than and the things I didn't have, and those are things that killed it. I'm a quiet person, and the leisure times I try to talk, it gets shut down. And when I don't talk is a problem, but friends help one another. It's not about you wanting the other person to always make a move. It's about you sowing your strength in the place of weakness of your friend. That's what makes a friendship. No, it's not one person always wanting to receive, right? And the other person having to give. That's not a friend, right? So you want to encourage your friend. You want your friend to increase, to be more, right? It's about what you give, right? That's what makes a relationship. But though as you give, you also want to receive because you're not God. We're all human. We all need to eat also. We need to build strength also as much as we're giving food and strength to others. That's what makes a relationship, right? Otherwise it becomes exhausting, right? So friends believe in your wisdom, stand behind your decisions, right? Again, instead of pushing you to think and act in a manner that they want to. Again, that's what I'm having here on social media, where you have people who have a over an overly estimation of who they are on the way they think or their sense of rightness, and wanting to make a better person look wrong because they feel they're right. Those are not friends. Those are what we call witches and wizards. Those are people trying to witchcraft other people. Those are people who are silent slaves to their flesh, right? Their flesh, the organs in their lower self. Those are people out of control, and looking and headed for a disaster. Those are not friends. Those are foolish people that one needs to keep far away from himself, right? So looking at more qualities here put together by Sonia. So good friends show up for tough times, right? She's quoting here, Bancha. Good friends show up for tough times. They're not just for the good times. When, it amazes me, people just show up in your life and the first thing they want is they want you to give them money, right? I have a cousin of mine who's had not heard from for donkey years, just show up from nowhere. And the first thing she's looking for some money from me, there's a problem with that. I'm not God. We all have our own needs, right? So I'm not God, so but good friends, and it's not about what they get from you, it's about what they give. But a true friend, takes interest in your personal growth and success, right? They're not envious of what's happening in your life. They want you to be better, right? True friends are based on honest communication and mutual trust, right? So it's the honesty, right, in communicating and talking, in bearing one's mind. I remember my time in my whole church, and or trying to do a Bible study, do a series. And I came with a sincere heart to move that forward. But there were a few people that felt I was trying to take over the whole group. And instead of them telling me exactly what the problem was, it was the attitude they were showing. Unfortunately, at this meeting I'm thinking about here, he had an important occasion to go, which I told the whole group, I had an important function. And I asked them if they could move the time for me, and they did. But there were a few people that were not happy about that. They probably thought I was having too much control over others and were bent on frustrating that meeting, And those are supposed to be my friends. No, they're not. They're not. They got something else in the back of their mind. That's not how friends relate. Right. So an easy way to identify a true friend is to gauge how you feel when you spend time with that person. Does the person fill you up or drain you? A friend fills you up or drain you. If you're around someone that drains you, that person is not a friend. When you're with a friend, you feel full, you feel brightened, freshened up. That is a friend. If you're in the presence of someone and all you ever do or get is that you get drained, that is not a friend. That's a fool. That's not a friend. It might not be a fool, but it's not someone you want to stay close with. You want to stay close with people that fill your tank, people that increase you. That is a friend. The opposite is not a friend. And probably that goes to what Bethenny says. It says, I don't let anyone into my bubble who dulls my sparkle because of their own insecurities, fears, and anxieties, and neither should you, right? You don't want people that are going to decrease you, suck you dry. You want people that can add to you, not take away from you, right? And so she mentioned some things from Hillary Clinton. Let's just look at some of those. Hillary said you have people who just adore you and follow you and model themselves after you. Then you have people who will complain and critique you. So you have people that love you, people that don't. That's reality of life. My Houston pastor, Joel Austin, would say that there are three kinds of people that want you to succeed, people that don't want you to succeed, and people that couldn't be bothered. So there are all of those type of people. They exist. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, they exist. So it's up to you to focus your energy around what adds to you, right? So you can get pushed to the extreme. You can't believe all the adulation and the best. People want to push you. You certainly should not buy into all the negativities. You control the people around you. So you have to. Last one here. It says you have to chart your own course, because at the end of the day, that's all you can do. You have to be the master of your destiny, the captain of your soul. Master of your destiny, the captain of your soul. Don't let people push you to where you don't want to go. They were looking to crown Jesus because he had given them bread. But Jesus knew who man was, so he did not commit himself to them. Don't listen to the cry of people, because the same people who want to make you king one day will be the same people crying, crucify him the next day. You be the master of your destiny. You be the captain of your soul, right? And just be who you are, for better, for worse, good times and bad. And the people you get will get you, and they'll know that you are an imperfect human being. Just be you. Just be you. We're all human. None of us is God, right? On to the last slide, and Hillary says, do the best you can to get through the day, to be fair and good to people around you, because at the end of it, you've got to be happy and satisfied with yourself. Don't lose you in the middle of life. Don't lose you. Right? Don't lose you. Don't be someone different from who you are because you're trying to please people. I'm done pleasing people. I couldn't be bothered. And probably see people are seeing that more with the social media thing. People come and say, hey, I used to respect you, witches. They want to control you. I used to respect you. Oh, yeah, good Christian. They're looking for people to control. Wow, don't lose yourself. Those are people with bad intent, bad energy, toxic people wanting to kill you. Know who you are, stay on track, be yourself. Right? Don't believe all the love and all the hype. Your circle should be made of people who understand you, and you, them, everyone else is a window dressing. Right? Surround yourself with people of integrity, good intentions, and excellent reputations. An excellent reputation, right? So that's what you want to surround yourself with. So who will inspire you and reflect onto you, right? Those are the people you want to surround yourself with. And that's what we're going to stop for today. We're going to come back next Sunday, and the next part in the book talks about making connections. So we'll talk about how to make connections, how to make friends, how to do your own part of the business, right? If everyone does their part, then everything will be okay. So we're going to talk about how you get to do your own part of building your network, building your friends, building your team, building your tribe. God help us. All right. Until then, I'm going to let you go. Have a good evening and have a great week ahead. God bless you. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'll be back next Sunday, God willing. Bye-bye.